Have you ever wondered if reality is, as fixed as it seems? Or maybe if you hold some kind of secret tool inside you, something capable of shaping it?
It's a fascinating question, isn't it? We often feel like we're just reacting to things, that life just happens to us.
Right.
But what if you were actually more like the director? What if your inner state, your feeling, was the real lever?
Exactly. Welcome, everyone, to this deep dive. We're going to explore a really specific teaching today on how reality gets created. We're drawing from a stack of materials shared by listeners.
Yeah, and these sources, they propose this central idea that's, well, surprisingly simple on the surface, but actually profoundly different from how most of us usually approach making changes in our lives.
Totally different. It's not the usual work harder, push more advice.
No, not at all. This material offers a perspective that's quite distinct from focusing on, frantic action or just waiting for something out there to finally shift things for you. It suggests a much more internal, fundamental approach.
So our mission today really is to unpack this core idea presented in these sources, that feeling is the actual secret to manifestation.
Yeah, we want to explore what that truly means. And maybe most importantly, how you might actually put it into practice yourself.
Because according to this teaching, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea.
No, it's presented as an operative law, like gravity. Something you can consciously use to, shape your world.
Okay, let's get into it. The central assertion, the kind of great secret behind every miracle, every manifestation, every transformation described here, it all comes down to learning how to feel it.
And feel it is defined really specifically. It means feeling the wish fulfilled.
Right, not just feeling hopeful or feeling like it might happen someday.
No, it's feeling it as though it's already real, like right here, right now. That's the key distinction.
And this is where it really departs from, the common ways people try. People pray, they hope, maybe they even beg, or just wait for things to change.
But the key, according to these sources, isn't any of that activity. The absolute key is the feeling.
The feeling itself.
Yeah. The material actually says to feel is to become. And also, to feel is to fuse your inner world with the outer one.
Fuse the inner and outer.
Wow. The basic idea is that the outer world just responds. It mirrors your inner state, and that inner state, it's governed by feeling.
Which leads right into another really powerful idea we found recurring. This idea that what many people call God isn't some, separate being way out there.
Right. It's described as your own wonderful human imagination.
Your imagination is the creator.
That's the idea. And it creates by imagining lovingly. So these sources position you, the listener, as the creator of your experience.
That's a big concept.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's the foundation for another core principle they repeat often. The world is yourself pushed out.
I find that phrasing so direct.
Yeah.
It basically means that whatever you truly believe, whatever you accept as true deep down, and whatever you feel with real conviction,
That's precisely what hardens into fact in your life.
it just becomes reality.
The law is always working, the sources insist. It's constantly producing your inner state externally. So if your life feels like it's mostly about lack...
It's because you're feeling lack internally.
Exactly. And if your life feels full of blessings and good things, it's because you're feeling blessed. It's a direct reflection.
So the world is essentially a mirror, which just reflects back your vibration or your state or your assumption, as they call it.
Yeah, it flips the script completely. Instead of thinking the outside dictates the inside, it's the other way around.
Okay, but let's get practical, because the obvious question is, how on earth do you feel something you don't actually have yet? That seems like the tricky part.
Totally. The sources talk about common desires, wanting more money, a better job, finding love, better health, more freedom.
The usual things people strive for.
Right. And the instruction is crystal clear. The focus has to be entirely internal. You don't look outside yourself. You don't wait for circumstances to change first.
You don't need external validation.
No, you have to enter the state within. And feeling wealthy or feeling loved in this context, it doesn't mean trying to whip up some temporary emotional high.
It's not just positive thinking.
It's deeper than that. It means assuming now, with a real inner conviction, that you are already the person you want to be, that you already possess what you desire.
So it's not hoping it might come.
No, it's assuming it is, right now. That's the shift.
The material actually gives some really helpful prompts for this. It asks you, if your desire were already fulfilled, like right now, how would you walk differently?
How would you speak? How would you greet your friends? How would you fall asleep tonight feeling?
What would be that first waking thought?
Yeah. And sincerely contemplating those questions and actually stepping into the feeling they evoke. According to the sources, that's what begins to construct a new state of consciousness.
A new inner reality.
Exactly. And that state, once you truly occupy it in feeling, it just effortlessly produces the corresponding outer reality. It has to.
It's really important, though, to clarify something the sources stress. This isn't just playing make-believe or daydreaming.
Absolutely. They emphasize strongly that this is creation. You are actively imagining your world into being through feeling.
They even bring in that scriptural idea, God calleth those things which be not as though they were.
And the application for you, the listener, is the same. You have to call forth the desired thing as though it already existed. And the critical part is feeling it to be true.
Okay, but what about the facts? What about the bank account statement or the doctor's report or the empty side of the bed? Those things feel pretty real.
The sources call those the shadow of your former state.
Just a shadow.
Yeah. They argue that those facts only have power because you keep giving them your attention and feeling. When you withdraw your attention and place it on the new feeling, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, those old shadows lose their substance and fade away.
So what matters most is the feeling you choose to sustain now.
Exactly. That's the creative power.
Let's dive a bit deeper into what this feeling actually feels like.
Yeah.
It's not just like a fleeting happy thought, right?
No, definitely not. It's described more as a deep, abiding inner knowing, a quiet confidence.
A knowingness.
Yes. And when you genuinely tap into that, they say physical and perceptual shifts actually happen. Your breathing might change, your posture naturally adjusts.
You start seeing things differently, like with new eyes.
Precisely. You stop operating from a place of being a beggar asking for change, as they put it, and you shift into being a creator declaring, it is done.
That's a powerful shift in identity.
It is. And from that internal point of it is done, the world must reassemble itself to match it.
And how does that happen? Does it require forcing things?
No, that's the amazing part. According to these sources, it happens not by force, not by willpower, but by the effortless divine operation of law. The feeling does the work.
So what's the practical technique they suggest for getting into this feeling?
It's pretty straightforward, actually. You imagine you are already there. You're living in the reality of your fulfilled desire. You close your eyes, and you just feel your way into that scene.
Feel your way in.
Yeah, the key isn't just visualizing it like you're watching a movie on a screen. It's about inhabiting it, stepping inside it.
So engaging the senses.
Exactly. Hear the sounds you'd hear in that reality, touch the objects you'd touch, breathe the air of that new world, make it feel real inside.
Let every sense participate to really amplify the feeling of being already there.
That's it. And after you've really immersed yourself, felt it fully, what do you do then?
You let go.
You let go. Ideally, you fall asleep bathed in that feeling. You carry echoes of it, that quiet knowing throughout your day. And if doubt or worry creeps in,
you gently return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Yes. And there's a really vital warning in the material. Don't contradict that feeling. Don't feel fulfilled for 5 minutes and then spend the rest of the day worrying, fearing, or complaining about the lack of it.
Because that cancels it out.
It reinforces the old state. You have to remain faithful to the feeling as they urge. Maintain that inner conviction.
The sources share a couple of stories that really illustrate this. The first one is about a woman who was desperate for her husband to come back after he'd left.
Yeah, she'd tried everything externally. Letters, calls, pleading. Nothing worked.
Standard approach.
Right. And the instruction she received was radically different. She was told, assume he loves you too. Assume you are happily together now. Imagine him holding you, saying he loves you, and truly feel the joy and relief of that reunion as if it were happening right now.
That must have been incredibly hard, given the circumstances.
Extremely difficult. It seemed completely contrary to the facts, but she persisted. She kept returning to that feeling. And the result?
He called her the very next week, apparently out of the blue.
And within a month, they were back together.
Wow.
And the key takeaway the sources emphasize isn't about anything she did outwardly or some magical change in him. It was her internal feeling that shifted.
She moved into a new state of consciousness first.
Exactly. A state of being loved and reunited. And the world had no choice but to mirror that change back to her.
There's another story, too, about a man wanting a better job.
Yes, he felt completely stuck. Overlooked, unworthy, like nothing would ever change.
A common feeling for many people.
Totally. And the insight given to him was profound. You are not stuck in your circumstances, you are only stuck in your feeling.
Stuck in the feeling of being stuck.
Precisely. So his instruction was to construct a short scene implying his desire was fulfilled. He chose to imagine shaking his new employer's hand, hearing the words, "You're hired," and feeling that surge of pride and relief.
And he practiced this.
He entered this scene in his imagination every night before sleep, really feeling it.
And the result.
Pretty remarkable. A company he'd never even applied to contacted him completely unexpectedly with a fantastic job offer, double his previous salary. And this happened within just a few weeks.
Again, the outer world conforming to the inner shift.
Exactly. The external circumstances didn't change first. His feeling changed. He stopped being the man who felt overlooked and unworthy, and he became, in his inner world, the man who felt hired and valued. The outer world simply had to catch up.
These stories really drive home that core principle. If you can truly feel it within, you can manifest it without.
Yeah, it suggests you don't need to struggle with manipulating people or forcing circumstances or waiting endlessly for external conditions to align just right.
You just need to enter the state, the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
And stay there, remain faithful to it. The sources are incredibly adamant about this. The world will conform, it always does.
They call you the operant power.
Yes. Meaning, nothing comes into your experience except what you fundamentally assume and accept as true within yourself. An assumption, when it's deeply felt as a fact, becomes an external fact.
It sounds like a fundamental law of consciousness.
That's how it's presented. A teaching found across many mystical traditions, really. You create your reality by what you feel to be true about yourself, about others, about life itself.
Which means choosing your feelings deliberately is, well, everything.
It's paramount. And there's that specific scriptural quote they often refer back to. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he.
And they really emphasize the word heart there.
Yeah, heart isn't just about intellectual thoughts rattling around in your head. It symbolizes the feeling center, the place of deep conviction.
So you can say, I am wealthy all day long.
But if in your heart, in your gut feeling, you feel poor and lacking, it's the feeling that wins. The feeling dictates the reality you experience.
So the real work is aligning your words, your thoughts, and your feelings.
Exactly. Speak what you feel and feel what you speak. That's when you're creating from a place of inner truth, and that's what manifests.
Okay, but what about negative feelings? Fear, doubt, they creep in. It's hard to just feel good when you're genuinely scared or worried about something.
That's a really important point, and the sources address it directly. The instruction isn't to suppress or fight those feelings.
Don't resist them.
No. Acknowledge them, but understand their function. They see feelings like fear or doubt as messengers.
Messengers of what?
Fear, for instance, simply means you are currently imagining something you don't want. Your focus is on an unwanted outcome, and that's generating the feeling of fear.
Ah, okay. So the feeling is a result of the inner image.
Precisely. So the solution isn't to battle the fear itself, it's simpler. Stop. Redirect your attention. Withdraw your energy from that unwanted scene playing in your mind.
And consciously construct a new scene.
Yes, a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. Step into the feeling of safety or confidence or calm or joy that would naturally accompany that fulfilled state.
And you just keep doing that, redirecting.
You persist in the new feeling. Repetition solidifies the new state. And here's a crucial insight they offer. No feeling lasts unless you sustain it.
You have to feed it, basically.
You do. So consciously choose to sustain only the feelings you actually want to experience as your reality.
That's a very different way of operating than most people.
Absolutely. Most people feel reactively based on whatever the outside world throws at them. The magician, or mystic, as the material describes them, feels proactively, deliberately, from their desired end, regardless of current appearances. That's the fundamental skill.
So the material really encourages you, the listener, to start this now. Not later, not when things look better.
Right now. Choose just one desire to focus on initially, just one, and begin to feel it as though it were already true for you.
Create that short, vivid scene in your mind that implies it's done.
Yep. Enter it fully. Feel it. Make it your home in imagination, as they say.
And return to it, over and over. Fall asleep in it, carry the feeling. Think from that state during the day.
And crucially, don't let the current outer reality discourage you. Remember, the sources say appearances are just catching up to your previous inner state.
This ability, it's presented as everyone's birthright.
Absolutely. They connect it directly to teachings like Jesus's. Whatsoever ye desire, believe that ye have received it, and ye shall have it. And that core belief, in its most potent operative form,
Is feeling. Feeling is the secret.
Exactly.
But what about waking up the next day or the next week and nothing? No outward sign. That's where most people probably give up.
That's the critical test. And the instruction is firm. Never judge by appearances. The moment you felt it real within, the seed has already been sown.
So what you're seeing outside is just the old reality playing out.
It's often just the lingering effect, the shadow of your old state of consciousness, your old dominant feeling. You have to keep nurturing the new feeling within.
Continue to feel the new reality internally. Let it take root.
Yes. Persist with what they call a quiet confidence, that deep inner knowing that, despite appearances, it is already done within you.
The sources also talk about something called the bridge of incidents. What's that?
It refers to the sequence of events, often unexpected or seemingly coincidental, that naturally unfolds to lead you from your current reality to the physical manifestation of your desire.
So the path appears.
Exactly. And crucially, you are not called to build the bridge. Your job isn't to figure out the how.
Your job is just to walk across it when it appears.
Right. These events don't happen because of your frantic effort or manipulation. They appear automatically because the law is responding to your sustained inner feeling. What seems random now often looks divinely orchestrated in hindsight.
But if you slip back into the old feelings, doubt, lack, fear,
then you're reinforcing the old state, effectively dismantling the bridge before you can cross it. That's why the disciplined, gentle, persistent discipline to return to and remain in the desired feeling is so important.
it causes a real change inside you first.
Yes, and when you genuinely change inwardly, the outer world must follow. The law isn't partial, it just faithfully responds to your predominant feeling within.
And your imagination. It's not just for idle daydreaming then.
Not according to these sources. It's the workshop of God. It's the very place where reality begins.
You're the craftsman, the dreamer.
And dreams become reality not by just wishing, but by daring to feel them as real here and now.
This whole process sounds like it shifts you from being passive to active.
Absolutely. From passively desiring to actively assuming. From hoping to knowing. From just imagining to actually creating. They call it the sacred alchemy of consciousness.
So how do they recommend practicing this regularly? Especially with, busyness of life.
They strongly recommend practicing it, especially right before you fall asleep, that time when the conscious mind is winding down.
Why then?
Because you can more easily withdraw your attention from the facts of the day, the outer world, and enter the inner world of assumption. Relax your body, still your mind as best you can, and just gently direct your attention to your desired state.
And you focus on the end result, right?
Yeah.
Not the steps to get there.
Exactly. Imagine a short, simple scene that clearly implies the desire is already fulfilled. Not how it happened, just the end result. Make it feel natural, vivid, alive, and most importantly, feel the feeling associated with it.
And this ability, it's not just for special people.
No, the sources are clear. It's the inherent right and ability of every man, woman, and child. You were born with this power. You're using it constantly anyway, just maybe unconsciously, by whatever feeling state you're habitually occupying.
So this is about using it consciously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Practice sustaining the desired feeling. Like an athlete trains their muscles, you train your ability to feel from the wish fulfilled. It gradually becomes your natural state, your dwelling place.
You're not here just to accept the world as it is.
You're here to transform it by transforming yourself inwardly first. The world is designed to reflect your internal changes.
So to really feel the wish fulfills means you actually become the person who has that desire.
In consciousness, yes. You start to think, feel, and even move from that state of already having it. You embody it with sincerity and faith.
And then the desire is drawn to you.
Because you've become its vibrational equivalent. You've become its embodiment. It finds you.
Okay, what about this idea of detachment that sometimes comes up? Does that mean you shouldn't want the thing anymore?
Good question. No, it's not detachment from the desire itself. It's detachment from worrying about the outcome, about the how and when.
Oh. Okay.
Once you've truly felt the feeling, impress it upon yourself, you let it rest, like planting a seed. You trust the law, trust the process. The manifestation is already underway on the inner planes.
So you don't keep digging up the seed to see if it's growing.
Exactly. You live with that quiet, confident knowing that it's done and let it unfold.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to wait for proof, for some external sign, before they'll let themselves believe or feel it's possible.
And this teaching flips that completely. It says, the sign comes after the belief. or more accurately, after the feeling.
So you have to believe first, through feeling it real internally.
And then the sign appears externally. The feeling is the cause. The sign is the effect. It always starts within. Your world is just your mirror.
It shows you who you are being in consciousness.
Right. So change who you are in feeling, and the reflection has to change. Your internal lens, your dominant feeling, adjusts the picture you see.
How can you make that inner scene, that feeling, richer?
In the quiet of your imagination, really engage all your senses. Hear the specific sounds associated with your fulfilled desire. Maybe voices congratulating you, or laughter, or the sounds of your new environment.
Make it detailed.
Vivid, detailed, and emotionally resonant. Really impress your deeper mind, your soul, with that feeling. And then you release it. You let go, trusting that the inner impression will find its outer expression.
The material also says something profound, that your feelings are your real prayers.
Yeah, not just the words you might say. The feelings you consistently carry in your heart, those are the true invocations, and they are always answered precisely according to their nature.
So feeling lack attracts more lack.
And feeling fulfillment attracts more fulfillment. It's an impersonal law.
So the way to bless your desire is simply to feel that it's already done.
Yes, give thanks for it now, not later when you see it. Give thanks now, recognizing it is yours because you have claimed it and felt it as real within your own consciousness.
It sounds like this process isn't about struggle or gritting your teeth.
Not at all. True effectiveness comes through surrender to the feeling. It's a quiet, confident assumption, not a battle.
And maybe you know it's working when you stop needing to force it, when you stop constantly asking yourself if it's working.
That's often a very good sign. When it feels natural, when it feels like your default state, that's usually when things are really moving from the unseen into the seen.
The great secret then boils down to this inner conviction.
Exactly. Reality is created by inner conviction, and conviction is impossible without feeling. You can't be truly convinced of something you don't feel. So you change your world by changing your conviction, and you change your conviction through deliberate feeling.
Okay, let's revisit that common stumbling block. I tried this and it didn't work. What's the response from this perspective?
The crucial question to ask yourself, honestly, is what did you feel most consistently during that time? Were you predominantly feeling the lack of the thing, punctuated by brief moments of feeling you had it, or were you truly dwelling in the feeling of having it?
Be honest about the dominant feeling.
Yes, because the law gives you not what you want on a surface level, but what you are in consciousness, what you're feeling and assuming to be true most of the time. So trace your feelings, your reactions, your inner state, your feeling conviction. That's what needs to shift.
So the call to action is really internal work.
It is, and maybe we can even invite listeners. Let's do this just for a moment. If you can, wherever you are, just close your eyes briefly.
Okay.
And just gently drift your attention to the end result of your desire already being fulfilled. Don't worry about how, just feel it now.
Step into that scene that implies it's already done.
Yeah, hear the sounds, see the details, feel the atmosphere right now. Feel the joy, the relief, the deep gratitude. Feel that it is yours now.
This isn't just daydreaming.
This is creation. You are doing it right now by feeling it.
And the instruction is just to remain in that state as best you can. Don't let external things shake that inner knowing.
Exactly. You are the imaginer, the feeler. And because you feel it, it must, by law, eventually become manifest in your world.
And as you dwell more and more in that new feeling, what happens?
Something wonderful. The old state, the old feeling of lack or limitation, it starts to fade. It just doesn't feel like home anymore. You've literally moved house inwardly.
You've changed your inner address.
You have, and the outer world, the mirror, must eventually move with you to reflect your new dwelling place.
So things that seemed impossible start to feel natural.
Exactly. What felt distant becomes familiar. And then one day, often in ways you couldn't have predicted, you look around and realize it's done, it's here.
But not because something external just magically changed by itself.
No, it's because the exterior world has finally caught up with what you knew, what you felt to be true, all along within yourself.
The world is just reflecting your sustained inner state.
When that state of the wish fulfilled becomes your dominant feeling, your primary dwelling place, reality has no option but to bend and conform. The event happens because you changed your consciousness, your vibration first. The world automatically responded.
There's another powerful concept in the sources. All creation is finished. What does that mean?
It means your desire isn't something you have to create out of thin air. It already exists as a possibility in the vast invisible realm of potential.
So you're not creating, you're selecting.
Exactly. You're selecting a reality from infinite possibilities already present.
How you select.
Like tuning a radio. You tune into the frequency of your desired reality through your inner state, primarily your feeling.
Change the frequency of the feeling and you change the song, the reality you experience.
That's the analogy. Persisting in the feeling keeps you tuned to that specific experience. You become it internally first, and that draws it from the unseen into the seen.
So the power lies in acceptance. Accepting it as true within.
Yes. Accepting something as true within you sets the corresponding events in motion externally. The outer event is just the echo. The origin is always, always within.
So again, don't be discouraged by delays.
Definitely not. The outer world can seem slow, dense. You have to learn to live more by your inner vision, your feeling, than by what your physical eyes are showing you right now. Assume it. Feel it as real, regardless of current facts.
You can argue with the facts.
No, they're just shadows of past feelings anyway. Disregard appearances that contradict your desire and keep claiming the inner truth of your new state, the state you feel, even if you can't see it yet.
And the more consistently you feel from that end result,
The more the outer world must yield. It has to. Circumstances, people, opportunities, they start to rearrange themselves, seemingly guided by your imagination, aligned with your feeling.
the sources seem absolute on this. Nothing's impossible when that alignment is achieved.
That's the core message.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe we leave everyone with a provocative thought to consider.
Yeah. What will you choose to feel tonight?
Not just what will you wish for or hope to see tomorrow, but what feeling will you choose to accept as undeniably real in your heart right now before you sleep?
Because that feeling, deliberately chosen and sustained, that's the actual beginning. It's the seed of your new world.
And even if no one else sees it yet, even if there are zero external signs,
Rest assured, on the inner planes, it is done. The feeling is the evidence. The assumption felt deeply as fact is the cause.
and the world has no choice but to follow that inner blueprint you've established. It must.
So don't wait. Don't wait for others or for the world to change first or for conditions to be perfect. Begin now. Use the power you already possess.
Your feeling and your imagination.
Enter the state of your wish fulfilled in your imagination, feel it real, and simply live there in consciousness as much as possible.
You're not really learning how to create something new.
You're learning how to feel correctly, because the feeling is the creation, already complete within you. The harvest is absolutely certain if the seed that sustained felt assumption is genuine and nurtured.
This power was always yours.
Always. The outer world is subject to you through the bridge of your feeling. Command your life through the quiet, sovereign authority of your chosen feeling. The universe, the law, it must obey.